single blow.
How we wish to see you again.
It's now my turn to fight against it.
The son of Phainon will be drowned in blood! The son of Phainon will be drowned in blood!
That was interesting. The second chapter of the story has taken quite an unexpected turn. At the end of version 3.0, Phainon took Nicodor's core flame and is now undergoing a trial to determine whether he is worthy of becoming the heir. Well, the game has already told us the outcome. If you open Amphoreus' Saga of Heroes, Nicodor's core flame belongs to Mydeimos, and Phainon is stated to be Capal's Chrysos heir. In other words, he fails the trial. However, what happens next is what truly surprises me. There are two key moments from the trailer that I want to highlight. First, take a look at this part. We see Phainon, for some reason, stabbing Mayday. Some people say the figure on the left isn't Mayday, but I'm 100% sure it's him. The clothes, the hand armor, and the foot armor all match his design. The only difference is the hair. Present-day Mayday has long hair, while this figure has short hair. I think what we're seeing here is a young Mayday, and this event takes place during Phainon's trial. From what we know, Phainon's trial is a test of will. His strength has already been acknowledged, but his will is wavering. According to Castaris, Phainon is still haunted by his tragic past, torn between two conflicting desires, fulfilling his new role as the Chrysos heir or seeking vengeance against those who destroyed his village and killed everyone he knew. Perhaps during the trial, Gnaeus reveals that the annihilation of Phainon's village is tied to Castrum Kremnos, and the one responsible was none other than King Euripon, Maydai's father. We already know that King Euripon, corrupted by the Black Tide, sought to conquer all of Amphoreus. Phainon's village may have been one of his casualties. This would explain why, in the trailer, we see Phainon standing amidst fallen Kremnoian soldiers. Showing Mayday to him could be the ultimate test. As the son of King Euripon, will Phainon set aside his vengeance and join forces with him as a fellow Chrysos heir to fight the Black Tide? Or will he choose revenge? Overcome by emotion, Phainon loses control. He stabs Mayday and failing the trial. That's what I believe happens here. Another key point I want to highlight is the Black Swordsman. We've known about this mysterious figure since the version 3.0 trailer, but his identity remained unknown. Well, until yesterday. A few days ago, Hoyoverse posted a recap of the version 3.0 story quest on their Twitter account. At the end of the recap, they included this intriguing line: "Whispers from the future, black cloak and sword, toward the great tree." Ever since I saw this message, I've been thinking about it. Let's assume this message is a canon event. So the question is, who sent it and why? Given that we've already traveled to the past, it's not far-fetched to imagine someone from the future making contact, or even traveling back to the present. After all, according to Einstein's theory of special relativity, the future is already laid out. We're simply moving toward it at the speed of 1 second per second. The idea that someone from the future is sending us a message is fascinating because you'd only do that if you wanted to change the outcome of your present. Just like what we did against Nicodor in version 3.0. That fight taught us that Amphoreus' timeline is linear. Changing the past doesn't create branching timelines like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Instead, it directly alters the present. This means the Black Swordsman must have done something catastrophic in the present that leads to a disaster in the future, hence the message. At least, that was my initial thought. After the special program, we now have more context. The Black Swordsman's identity remains unknown, even to Aglia and Tribby. For now, we refer to him as Flame Reaver, and he aims to steal Circe's core flame. These new pieces of information change everything. In version 3.1, we'll go to the Grove of Epiphany to engage in a peaceful discussion to reclaim the core flame of Circe's, the Titan of Reason. It's said that Circe's is a friendly Titan, and his core flame has already been entrusted to the Grove for safekeeping. However, during this mission, we will encounter Flame Reaver as he attempts to steal it. Given these developments, we can now assume that the whisper we received was referring to this exact event. Someone is going to the Grove to steal the core flame, and we must act quickly. With this in mind, we can narrow down the possibilities behind Flame Reaver's motives to two theories. 1. Flame Reaver is responsible for the Black Tide and wants to prevent the Chrysos heir from fulfilling the prophecy. 2. He is trying to prevent whatever miracle occurs after we return all the core flames to the vortex of Genesis. The first theory is unlikely because if he's been actively interfering with the Chrysos heir's missions, I'd say he sucks at his job. After all, only 5 core flames remain unreturned, and we know exactly where they are. Aquila, Kephale, and Onyx are still alive. Circe's core flame is in the grove, and although Thanatos is nowhere to be found, Castariche is set to claim their core flame. Flame Reaver is powerful enough to withstand the combined forces of the Chrysos heirs from Okima, Kremnos, and the Grove. If his goal was to steal the core flames, he could have done so much earlier when fewer demigods stood in his way. Furthermore, if he had been around all this time, Aglia or Tribi would have recognized him and warned us about his presence. The fact that they know nothing about him suggests he appeared out of nowhere, which leads us to the second possibility. In the future, all the core flames have been successfully returned, and after witnessing the miracle that occurs, Flame Reaver travels back in time, using Onyx's power or a method similar to Mem's when we visited past Castrum Kremnos, to prevent it. Listen to what he says in the trailers.
Stand down or die. All will one day die.
Stand down or die, all will one day die. These aren't words of someone with killing intent. Instead, this is someone trying to reason. The miracle isn't exactly what we're expecting, and this guy who has seen it is now on a mission to stop it. This reminds me of the false prophecy theory proposed by Ashikai. In her video, she explains that the prophecy we follow may have been altered, which explains Onyx's strange reaction in version 3.0. Fulfilling the prophecy may not lead to salvation. It may bring about something entirely different. I highly recommend watching her video for a deeper dive into this theory. It's so good. The fact that Flame Reaver chose to return to this specific point in time rather than years earlier, or when we haven't arrived in Amphoreus, suggests that our presence is a key factor in whatever happens next. Think about it. We are essentially uninvited guests. Without our intervention, Amphoreus would not have been able to defeat Nicodor. Our actions may have disrupted a predetermined future, and now Flame Reaver is trying to correct it. Is this why he tells us to stand down? Because if we continue, everyone will die? And what about the whisper? Is it a warning from an ally or the voice of our enemy? Hopefully, we'll have our answers when version 3.1 arrives.